The Calgary Stampede is now in full swing, the first time in 2 years without COVID restrictions. And along with the crowds, well, the politicians are also back. That includes the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who is meeting and talking to supporters at an event in Calgary today. The Stampede is also attracting Conservative federal politicians.
Conservatives are the ones who built this country, and Conservatives are the ones who always fix the country after the Liberals mess it up.
And that, of course, was Candice Bergen as hundreds of party supporters and Conservative leadership hopefuls, including Jean Charest and others, attended a barbecue last night. Alberta Conservatives hold 30 of the 34 seats in Parliament, so it is an important place to be seen for Conservative politicians. That said, the candidate believed by many to be the frontrunner in the federal Conservative leadership race is Pierre Poilievre, and he too was at the barbecue. So for more on the federal politicians who are hoping to ride into political favor at the Stampede, I spoke earlier today with political columnist Graham Thompson, and I asked him why Pierre Poilievre enjoys such strong support in Alberta, even though he's an MP from Eastern Ontario.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, he's from Calgary. He actually was born and raised in Alberta. He went to the University of Calgary for his degree, so he's actually more of an Albertan, let's say, than Jason Kenney, for example. Of course, Kenney was born in Saskatchewan, represented a riding in Calgary, but Kenney spent much of his time in Ottawa as a federal politician. And even though Pierre Poilievre is represents an Ottawa riding, he is actually from Alberta. He said that during the Stampede as a young man, he would wait tables and clear tables during the Stampede. But also, right now, he is speaking to a lot of the anger and resentment that many Albertans, especially Conservatives, have towards the federal government. Pierre Poilievre has been very much an anti-establishment politician, and right now Albertans like to hear that, because it's not just about the federal leadership race, there's also a provincial leadership race going on right now to replace Jason Kenney as both the leader of the United Conservative Party and Premier, and a lot of that campaign is aimed at against Ottawa, against Trudeau. Danielle Smith, one of the candidates in that provincial race, has said if she becomes Premier that she would pass a law to basically ignore federal laws and rules. And so, that you could say is unconstitutional, it's not going to work, but she's playing to a base, a very angry base right now. And even people who are not separatists in Alberta, there was a poll out recently saying, even though they're strong Canadians, even they feel that Ottawa has tended to ignore Alberta. So Pierre Poilievre is really tapping into that sense of alienation that's very hot right now in Alberta, and that makes him, in a sense, it's almost redundant for him to beat the Stampede. He doesn't really need more support. Of course, it's fundraising as well, but he's very popular right now among Conservatives in Alberta, particularly rural areas and in Calgary.
Mm-hmm. Now, by contrast, the Prime Minister does not enjoy the kind of popularity that Poilievre enjoys in Alberta. So what kind of reception do you think he'll get at the Stampede?
Yeah, it won't be the most warm reception, I imagine. But the thing is, Calgarians are a polite lot, and you think that during the Stampede, a lot of fun things going on. Now, Trudeau has been to every Stampede while he's been Prime Minister, except for 2020 because of the pandemic. So we'll see the kind of response he gets. But he won't be staying here, I don't think, for a very long time. He'll pop in, of course, wear a cowboy hat. We all wear cowboy hats. I'll be at the Stampede this week. I have a cowboy hat. It does.
Looks good, my friend.
No,
it looks
really
good.
Goofy. The thing is, though, you got to wear a cowboy hat. If you don't wear a cowboy hat in Calgary this week, you really stand out, just like politicians who don't show up. The worst thing for Trudeau would be not going to the Stampede. So if politicians don't turn up at the Stampede, then people notice. So you got to be there, even if you make it a rocky reception. Look, politicians, the NDP in Alberta, Rachel Notley, the leader of the NDP, is there this week, and so are this pancake breakfast from all political parties, because there's a lot of focus right now on the federal Conservatives, provincial Conservatives, and their leadership races. But this is a time, people actually have a lot of fun. The thing is, people go to the Stampede, so politicians follow the people, and journalists follow the politicians. So a lot's going on, a lot of fun. So it's better for a leadership candidate to meet people at a pancake breakfast, people are in a good mood, eating free food, as opposed to going out to, knocking on doors or going to a hotel ballroom somewhere and trying to give a speech for an hour to people. The Stampede is a lot of fun and politics don't always go together very, very well. They do at the Stampede.
Which is why we're watching very closely. Graham Thompson, thank you for that.